I remember the first time I made my offer on a multifamily property, my hands were literally shaking as I signed the contract. I had all these fears and doubts running through my mind on that day, but I pushed through, and that one step changed my financial life forever. So that was my first step into my journey to becoming financially free. In today's video, what I want to do is share with you how you can take that same first step without fear and uncertainty. I guarantee it. And number two, I'm going to give you the same steps I use, the simple 3-step framework for making your first offer on a multifamily property. And at any time you have any questions, you can text me directly, real time, to 833-942-4516. Again, with any questions, because I want you to stop dreaming and start doing. Let's get started. All right, here we are with step number one. And step number one is assessing the deal. This is where you're going to have to do your homework to see if this is a smart investment or not. This is the most important part, and you may want to take notes here to make sure you do it right. Okay? All right. So the goal here is to assess the deal, and I'm doing it in such a way that I call it, this is a data-driven approach, okay? So we can remove the emotion and prevent you from overpaying, okay? We're gonna remove the emotion. There's no guesswork here in this first part in assessing the deal, okay? Again, you may wanna take notes. I'm gonna do this with 3 simple steps, all right? Step A is location. Location is key. And you've heard the old saying in real estate, location, location, location. It is so important that you can fix a broken down property, but you can't fix a broken down location. Okay, you can't fix it. So your goal is to buy in a good location. Okay, you know the difference. You are grown folks out there, and you know the difference between a good location and a bad location. Okay, bad location has boarded up homes, there's crime, there's drugs, there's bad people in the neighborhood. They don't pay rent. Okay, so you do not want to buy here. You want to buy in a good neighborhood. Okay, I don't need to talk about that because I think you understand that. All right. B is to be cash flow positive. You have to be able to run your numbers. Okay, real quick, I produced this video. The video is called how to calculate cash flow. Very important video. I spent an enormous amount of time on this topic on cash flow. So watch that video. Okay, it's actually a master class. So watch that video. So you want to have positive cash flow from day one. So when you are crunching your numbers before you make an offer, you want to make sure that whatever offer you make, with your income, expenses, and paying the mortgage, that you are positive starting out, not negative. Okay, do that first before you make the offer. All right, and then C is pricing. We have to talk about what price are we going to offer to this seller. Okay, so the price to offer is going to be based on 2 things. I mean, based on the asking price. What price are they asking for? Let's say they're asking for $1 million. So you're going to compare the asking price versus the sales comps. Sales comps are sales comparables, basically what things have sold for in that same area within the past 12 months. Okay, so you're going to compare what they're asking for today with what has sold between today and the last 12 months. You need to come up with an average price sales comps. It's very important that you do this. Okay, all right. Now here's the situation. If the asking price is reasonable, okay, let's say they're asking $1 million and your sales comps come up to be $1,025,000 or $975,000, so you're right around there. Okay, all right. So if the asking price is reasonable, then I want you to start your offer at 6% below the asking price. Why is that? Because this 6% will give you a little bit of negotiating room. And come on, the agent isn't expecting you anyway to offer what they're asking, right? They expect you to offer lower because they know you're going to do that, so they price it a little higher so they can negotiate. So you're going to go at the minimum 6% below the asking price or even more. Just kind of test the waters. Okay. So that's where you're starting if the asking price is reasonable. However, in situations where the asking price is way over your sales comps, so let's say they're asking for 1 million, but the sales comps are showing 800,000, then they're asking for way too much, right? So what I want you to do is start your offer at your sales comp price. Okay, so that way you're not overpaying, right? Now you may be a bit emotional on your first deal, saying, Peter, but I want the deal. Look how beautiful it is, right? Look how beautiful the property. Look at the great location. All right, so it's very important that you fall in love with the numbers and not with the property. Okay, so when a agent or seller puts a value on the property, they don't get to establish the market value. Guess who does? We do, you and I. The value of the property is established by the market. The market, again, is you and I, okay? Not them, okay? So you're going to put your best foot forward. If they're asking way over the sales comps, you're going to put your offer in at the average of the sales comps. You're going to let them know that the property isn't worth the $1 million, is only worth the 800,000, which is your average sales comps, okay? So that's where you start, and they will probably counter you, which we'll get into a little later. Okay, that brings me to the last point. I want you to establish your take price, okay, up front. Your take price is the highest price that you'll pay, right? That when you take the deal, it's called your take price, okay? What's your take price? So establish your take price. Your take price is usually right around your average sales comps or a little higher, okay? Or a little higher, okay? So establish your take price. So your take price, whatever price you have, you still need to make sure that you cash flow positive. Okay, got it? All right. So that's step number one. So take your notes, absorb this, all right, because I want to go into step number two, which is the contract. Let's do that next. Got questions? Simply text the word Peter to 833-942-4516 and we'll help you. All right, once you are done with step one, which is assessing the deal and making sure it's a good location and the cash flows, we can go to step number two here, which is reviewing the contract. Okay, so step two is contract review. You have to keep in mind that before you sign the contract, you need to realize that the contract for your multifamily property is a legally binding contract. Okay, so legally binding document, meaning when you sign it, you have to adhere to everything written in the contract. So right now, I want to go over with you the two most important things you need in this legally binding document, okay, the contract. Number one is you get to pay attention to the critical timelines, okay? You need to give yourself enough time to do your homework to make sure you like the deal. And if you like it, it gives you a chance to inspect the property, get a loan and all that stuff. So then make sure you like it and it's going to work for your goals. Okay, so critical timelines, time to do your due diligence. So three parts here you need to pay attention to critical timelines. Number one is you need 30 days. So in the contract, you need to make sure there's an inspections clause in the contract and you need at least 30 days, not 14 days or 7 days that the agents want or the seller wants. You need 30 days. Okay, that's really important. You need enough time to relax and do your inspection. So in this part here, what you're going to do is you're going to walk through all the units, look at the roof, have a roof inspector, bring in a professional property inspector, look at the foundation, look at inside the units, look at the HVAC system, everything. So you get a thorough inspection here. It's going to take the entire day or sometimes multiple days to get a 20 to 50 page document back on how to look at this. By the way, I have a video called How to Inspect an Apartment Building. It's a long video, it's very extensive. You may want to check it out. Okay, that's the first part in this critical timeline in the contract. The second thing is you're going to have a clause called financing in your contract. You need to give yourself 30 days to find a loan for your deal. Okay, not 7 days, all right, not 14 days. You need 30 days. Commercial funding takes longer than getting a home. And with the home, you can do it in 3 days. 7 days. Not with commercial, not with multifamily. It takes longer. Okay. Next, you need to figure out the closing. There's a clause called closing. You need to give yourself 30 days after the inspections are done. Okay, so you got 30 days to do your inspections. Once that's great, you're going to close 30 days after the inspections for a total of 60 days. Okay, so make sure your contract says you're going to close 30 days after the end of your inspections. Got it? Okay, critical timelines. Number two is your contract's going to need three key contingencies. Contingencies are if this happens and then this is the result. If this is okay, then that's okay. So let me explain. All right, so three contingencies. These contingencies, by the way, are non-negotiable. If they are not in a contract, do not sign the contract. That simple. Okay, either be adamant that these three are in the contract or don't do the deal. It's a trap. Okay, all right, and then these three contingencies will protect your earnest money deposit. Okay, so if you don't like the deal, you can get your deposit back. Without these contingencies, you could lose your deposit and end up with nothing out of pocket, thousands of dollars. Okay, so the three keys. The first one is to have an inspection contingency. We talked about that, right? 30-day inspection contingency. Next is you need to have a finance contingency in the contract, right? Oh, before I go on the inspection contingency, what this says is you're allowed to inspect the property, and if you don't like what you find during the inspection, you can back out and get your money back and move on. Okay. Same thing with the finance contingency. It allows you to go out and look for a loan that you like. If you don't find a loan that you like, you can back out. Okay, so these two contingencies are your safety nets just in case you don't like the deal. Okay, critical to have in here in this contract. The last one is a title contingency. Okay, a property title shows who the ownership is, and if there's any liens on the title, like lawsuits or penalties or city violations, all that's on the title report on the property, right? So you need to make sure that you have a title contingency on this contract so that if something appears on a title, let's say the owner didn't pay his property taxes for the last 3 years, that is going to be on the title report. That needs to be cleared up before you close on a deal. And the seller does not want to clear it up, you can back out because of this title contingency. Okay, got it. So it's very important. So if you have a defective title, if the owner doesn't want to pay and clean up the title, and then it makes your property worthless. All right, so a title that's clouded with liens and issues and things like that, if it's not cleaned at closing, your property, in my opinion, is the title is not marketable, I will call it, and the property is near worthless. Okay, so clean title is very important. Got it? All right. So those are your two steps, or step number two for the contract review. Make sure you have all this in your contract, or guess what? Don't do the deal. Got it? All right. Let's go to step number three, which is actually submitting the offer. Now it gets fun. Every successful commercial real estate investor has a mentor. Get mentored by me and my team by applying to be our next protege. Click the top corner. Here we are with step number three. Okay, this is the exciting part. You've done your homework, you've checked out the contract. Now it's time to submit the offer. But let me ask you this: why don't many aspiring investors do that? Why don't they put in the offer? And it's because of three things, right? Been doing this for 25 years. Number one, they get analysis paralysis. I was an engineer. You get analysis paralysis, but you have to realize that there's no such thing as a perfect deal. All right. So, how to get over analysis paralysis is to make sure you have a contract that allows you to get out if you get scared. Okay. So, you submit the offer, and if you find some things you don't like, you can get out of the contract and start over again. And my belief is that every time you get a deal under contract, you look at it, but you don't close on it, it makes you better for the next deal. Okay. All right. So, that's enough with the analysis process. Number two, the people don't make offers is because of fear of rejection. Okay, I suffer that too. But guess what? In real estate, you got to have thick skin. Rejection is inevitable. It's going to happen. It's life. Every part of life you have rejection. You got to push through it. Okay. And number three, why most people don't make offers is because they tend to go at it alone. There is a scripture in Proverbs that says, when there is no counsel, people fall. But when there are multiple counselors, there is safety. So my suggestion to you, if you're going at it alone, get some help, right? Get some experienced help behind you. You can hire us as your mentor so we can walk you through this whole process by holding your hand all the way through. Okay, so that's it. So now hopefully I busted your barriers and you can submit this offer. Let's assume that you submitted the offer, okay? And then, so what's going to happen is I want you to anticipate and expect them to counter your offer. Okay, so you put your offer in for $1 million. They may counter you with $1.1 million. Okay, that happens every time. It's very rare for your offer to be accepted the first time. Okay, they're going to counter your offer. It's part of the game. Okay, so they're going to counter you with a higher price. All right, now, so what I want you to do next is I want you to recall in step two, remember you came up with your take price? Do you recall that your take price is the highest price that you established that you're going to put in your back pocket? Okay, it's the highest price where you take the deal and you put it in your back pocket. Now, with your take price in mind, you can now counter their higher price offer with your take price. Okay, because when you do that, this ensures that you're not overpaying because you've done your homework prior knowing that this is the highest you can pay. You cannot go over. So it removes the emotions of playing this game with the agents and with the sellers where you're going to overpay because you love the property so much. Don't do that. Stick with your take price. Okay. So you're going to counter back to them with your take price. If they accept it, congratulations, you can now go under contract. Okay. However, if the seller does not accept your counter offer and he wants a higher price, and then what I want you to do is to walk away. All right. Remember when you bought your car, you got the best price. When you made your offer for the car and the dealer says, "Oh wait, that is no way, that's not going to work." You walked out of the dealership. They chased after you, and then you negotiated a deal. Same difference here, same thing, okay? So you have to walk away to maintain your power. Got it? Walk away. They may come back to you, or guess what? They may not come back to you, and that's okay. So what I want you to do is don't get emotional once you go through this process, okay? Don't get emotional and keep your power, okay? By walking away and let them come back to you, or if they don't want to accept your offer, maybe you give them a couple of weeks and you go back it again. If they don't want to budge, you walk away and go on to the next deal. Got it? All right. So maintain your power in step three. That is crucial. All right. So thank you so much. I'm going to end it right here. So hopefully now you have a good idea of how to make your first offer. Okay. Step one was to make sure you have a great location. Step two was to review the contract. And step three is to submit the offer. All right. So there you have it. If you want to get more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Do me a favor, go ahead and hit the like button. And again, if you have any questions for me at all during this video, you can text me directly to 833-942-4516. Thank you so much, and I'll see you at the next video. Would you like to work with me? Every successful commercial real estate investor has a mentor. Learn more about my protege program right here.